Hi, folks. Robert Quigley here, Washington, D.C., the Money Pit Group. We're on the road to the White House. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please push the subscribe button below. Add your comments, join the conversation. Let's have some fun to make the world a better place to live. In this video, we're going to do a quick discussion on internet reform. There's going to be a lot of reform in the Quigley administration, but this is a topic that's touching the hearts and souls of many people today, and it's an example of the trampling of cherished American rights as we advance through the digital age. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is, in this bit of law reform, the world of censorship is going back to the closet. It's coming to an end. Free speech rights are enshrined in the American Constitution. And I've sat back and watched for more than a decade now one of the most cherished rights that Americans hold near and dear to their hearts, and which in fact is one of the linchpins and cornerstones of the American successful democracy, freedom of speech. Here's the problem. The courts have looked at public speech and private speech, public forums and private forums, and that's pretty much where the law has been drawn. Very simply put, when I'm in the White House, one of the very first changes that's going to happen within the first week or two of holding that office is we're going to pass a law, and the likes of Facebook, Twitter, Nextdoor, Snapchat, TikTok, any other internet forum or page or website that opens itself up to public discussion will have no defense and no legal right to curtail, limit, or step on the freedom of speech rights as they exist in the United States of America. It's very simple. If you put up a website, if you put up a forum, and you encourage public discussion, you allow public discussion, you've opened the door to the world. And when you open that door to the world, everybody and anybody is welcome to say whatever they want, whenever they want, and there's absolutely no censorship. There's no comment deletion. You're not going to interfere with that public expression of free speech, no matter how much you like it, no matter how much you dislike it, and no matter how much it affects your advertising revenue. That is a golden sacred right of the United States, and that is going to be protected. Now, if you don't want to, live underneath the rules of the United States and freedom of speech, well, then you turn your website or your forum into a paid private hole in the ground, and you can go there in the dark and you can exclude others. But anything that can be seen by the public, and there is no trickery in here. You know, the registration or the acceptance of a registration does not take a public forum into the realm of a private forum. Anything that is directed at the public is a public forum, and that's going to be the line that we use in the new law. Does not matter if you've got private ownership, because private ownership rights are never going to trump, ever, public free speech rights. Simple as that. Nobody may own or control any piece of the internet. If you don't like the message, then the answer is to click on to the next page. Simple as that. The U.S. paid for those freedom of speech lives in blood. And just because we have folks living today who are managing one forum or another acting as censors in one form or another is not going to be allowed to stand. You're not going to put aside the blood that's been shed and the lives that have been lost and trample on the rights that are held near and dear by all Americans. How's that saying go? I may not agree with what you say, but I will defend your right to the death to say it. Well, let me tell you, the internet is not going to in any way infringe that sacred U.S. right of free speech. So when we get to the actual lawmaking stage, I'm going to run across a couple of points that we're going to put in the law. Um, it's going to have both civil and criminal penalties. It is going to be a new standalone law. The main test in the law is going to be, is it a public audience or is it truly a very narrow, very segregated, very isolated private audience? If it's a public audience, then the obligations and liabilities apply with full force. It's going to have a civil remedy. Anybody who is censored will have a right to bring a civil action against the owner as well as the person who did the censoring on that website. And we are going to set a minimum presumed damage amount. The courts will have to start their calculation of damages at $100,000. And that number will be adjusted for inflation as time goes by. So if you're in the business of owning and operating digital media, you censor somebody's free speech because you're talking to the general public, to be defined very loosely and very broadly, then you know what? The law is going to assume that was $100,000 damage. No question about it. So my advice is don't do it. All right. On the statute of limitations, we're going to let this law have a statute of limitations period for 20 years. I mean, this is going to be a very, very harsh law if censors and website owners should run afoul of its provisions. There's going to be a criminal side of the law. If a person has found to have censored a public message in a public or quasi-public or mostly public forum, then the first penalty is a 1-year probation. It is a felony. It's going to be a 1-year probation. There is no question about it. You do it again, you're going to jail for 5 years. Those are going to be the two penalties involved. There's just no question about it. In addition to this, and included in this law, we are going to eliminate anonymity in the internet. This is ridiculous. People are putting up fake names. Your neighbors, people who would never say the crossest thing to your face, and I'm not saying my neighbors are bad or your neighbors are bad, but I'm just saying generally, they can go into the internet, they can put up a disguised name, and they can badmouth you all day. That's going to come to an end. Underneath my administration, every single page on the internet is going to have a name, an address, a number, and an email of that website owner. Every poster, every commenter is going to be commented and they're going to have identifying information in that comment. People are not going to hide underneath the mattress. They're not going to hide in the cracks and crevices of the internet. If you say something, you better mean it. You say what you mean and you mean what you say. The world of turning the internet into a anonymous complaining shop or attacking shop, they're coming to an end. We're cleaning up the internet. And this is respectable communication, it's accurate communication, it's thoughtful communication. And if you don't do it, your site's coming down. It's no question. Believe me, the internet can be controlled. Don't believe one single bit that it's this sort of amorphous, uncontrollable creature out there in the universe that has got a life of its own. No, we know where the servers are. We know where the on and off switches are. Uh, if you don't comply, you don't identify yourself. If the system is not identifying its owners and participants and speakers on every page, guess what? That site's coming down. So this is just an example of the world that we are going to be moving into, and we're going to improve for the betterment of all internet participants. That's all I'm going to say on that topic. I'm sure we're going to come back to it in the future. If you look at Elon Musk, for example, you look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump was kicked off Twitter. It's just mind-boggling. Personally, I'm neither here nor there, yay or nay on the Donald Trump issue at this moment in time. Although when I do get to the White House, I have some things to deal with on that front. But it's just simply unthinkable that an American politician, let alone Jane or John in the street, would have their political views censored, have their accounts turned off, deactivated, however you want to say it. Things like this, where one person has some kind of control over another person's freedom of speech rights, is simply going to cease to exist the day that I walk into the White House. It's never going to happen again. Okay, folks, with that, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, join the conversation, tell me where I'm right, tell me where I'm wrong. Look back to the Quigley administration video. We're looking ahead, and we want to start getting folks interested who might have something to contribute to the Quigley administration. And until we meet again, all the best.